Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526.
Welcome to Magicbricks Now, India's first property channel. You're watching the urban debate. I'm Faye D'Souza. Big stories that happened today. Let's take a quick look at everything that made headlines. The mega master plan to extend Mumbai's coastal expressway to the Thane Creek gets a nod from the state. As Magicbricks Now brings you the mastermind behind the proposed plan. The Bangalore market is still healthy. Private equity firm Milestone, after making 150 crore exit, plans more exits worth nearly 1,000 crore rupees in the coming months. That's another Magicbricks Now exclusive. Mahindra Lifespace's mega push plans to invest in industrial park in the maximum city, Mumbai. A mega master plan to extend Mumbai's coastal expressway project has got the nod from the BMC and the state. Now, the project proposes to bring back Mumbai's lost glory and claims to be the answer to Mumbai's infrastructure problems. On the urban debate today, we have the mastermind himself who proposed this new project. And before we introduce to you our panel of guests, I want to tell you about the project that we're looking at, the Coastal Road. My colleague Ruchi Deshpande tells us what the changes are in the Coastal Road and how it might impact the way you drive to work every day. Ruchi.
One of Mumbai's biggest infrastructure projects, the Coastal Freeway Road, seems to be on track, with the BMC now pushing for tenders and the MCZMA is not. What we also learn is that the BMC has given an in-principle nod to extending the 34-kilometer 8-lane road up to Thane Ghodbandar. Now let me tell you how exactly this connectivity works. Now, BMC's original plan starts from Nariman Point, passes through Bandra and ends at Kandivali in western Mumbai. According to this new proposal, the plan begins from Nariman Point, goes up to Priyadarshini Park via Malabar Hill. From there, it goes to Bandra Worli Ceiling. From the Ceiling, it goes to Versova, and from Versova, it goes to Mud Island. From the island, it goes to Borivali, and from there to Mira Bhayandar Road. It also connects to Western Express Highway and eventually to Thane Ghodbandar Road. The new proposal ensures that this will be a ring road. It will have clover-leaf connections with other arterial roads and link the existing roads leading to railway stations. There will be 3 bridges proposed across Versova, Marve and the Borivali Creek. So it essentially means a big connectivity boost for the congested city of Mumbai.
Well, anybody who lives in the western suburbs of Mumbai knows it could take upwards of 2.5 hours to drive home every day because of congestion on that road. The Coastal Road, of course, was a solution to all of the problems that Mumbai is facing on its western side. There was a fair amount of criticism for the initial plan of the Coastal Road that Ruchi just took us through for various reasons. One, it seemed environment unfriendly. Secondly, it didn't include enough options there for rapid transport. There was no BRTS and there wasn't rapid movement of people across that road, which basically then limits it to those of our citizens who own cars, leaving everybody else without the option of using that road. But we're going to look now at this new revised road to find out if it really will solve all of the problems that Mumbai is facing. Ajit Mathur, project consultant and developer of the Mumbai Coastal Road, the one who masterminded that new project, is in the studio with me. Mr. Mathur, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show. Kuldeep Chawla, Managing Partner at Milestone Private Equity, will tell us what the real estate impact is. Sudhir Badami is a transport expert, also joins us in the studio. Hussain Indorewala, Urban Researcher, in the collective for alternatives. He's also the assistant professor at the Raheja Institute of Architecture, joins us as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Ajit Mathur, I'll come to you first with this same question. It seems like a larger, more ambitious plan. You do tell me, of course, that the timelines remain the same, that you will still finish this project in 3 years. My question to you is simply this. All of those people in Mumbai who use public transport, is this another infrastructure project that will leave them out of it? Because we know that's what's happening with the freeway. It's what happened with the Bandra Worli Sea Link. It encouraged people with private cars. Is this one such project?
According to me, according to my plan, this is not the project which will decongest Mumbai. First of all, the earlier plan was to have a coastal road from Versova to Kandivali. That would cause destruction and devastation. all along its route, because it will connect to the already congested linking road.
Okay.
So it would not serve the basic purpose for which it is planned. So I've come out with an option, since Modi's dream was to bring bullet train from Ahmedabad to BKC, Bandra. That would take 10 years.
Okay.
So I want to finish the project in 3 years' time and cater to a population of 55 lakhs of people.
Mr. Mathur, you haven't answered my question.
And it will be fruitful because there is lot of interlinks and connectivity, and cycle track and walking track where people can go within a radius of 5 kilometers. That's the thing. And you can have a transportation problem solved with the buses.
Okay, let me ask Sudhir Badami to come in here. Does that solve the transportation problem, Sudhir?
I think we are looking at very narrowly as transportation issue. We basically have to look at it as quality of life of people. And people includes people only and not motor cars.
Right.
It's a little biased, you may all think of it. But the point is, when we have in the railways 4,000 people getting killed every year because of overcrowding, and overcrowding is a volume, I'll tell you what it is. We have a shortage of what is the quantum. Railways carry about 360,000 persons per hour for the 3.5 hours of peak period in the morning and similarly in the evening.
Right.
Its capacity after MUTP present stage is about 180,000 persons per hour.
Okay, so it's
so we are a big shortage of 180,000 persons per hour capacity. Now the other aspect is the motor cars are only about, users are just about 4% now. Earlier it was just about 2.8% of the population. And therefore, if we are going to cater only to their time and not value people's life quality, time quality of the masses.
Okay, so basically if you're saying if I don't own a car,
yes,
I don't have access to this road. And that leaves me on a crowded train and I'll continue to be on that crowded train? That's
and that is, you belong to the majority of the people in that case.
The majority of the people?
Yes.
Ajit Mathur, what's the solution for that?
The solution is, first, my proposal will decongest the already congested Western Express Highway.
Okay, fair enough.
I am creating a ring road and a world-class business district, which will be
where will this business district be?
And this business district will be Borivali, Kandivali, Goregaon, Malad up to Warsaw, including Mira Bhindar. And there's a connectivity to Thane. So entire Borivali and surrounding areas will have a business district first. And it will enhance the marketability, the life of the people, and it will be for the benefit of the general public at large.
Okay,
they don't have to go to the city.
They don't have to go to the city. I want to ask you this question.
There's a business sector, educational institute.
I want to ask you this question. When you say Thane Borivali Connect, will this be the tunnel that's being planned under the Sanjay Gandhi National Park? Is that the connection that you're talking about? Is it a different connection?
Tell us already there is a Godbanda Road, Thane Godbanda Road, and a freeway is coming on.
Okay.
So that will join the Thane Godbanda Road.
Okay.
So now I'm connecting Thane to the western suburbs. They don't have to go to the Western Express Highway. Suppose they need to come to Borivali, they can come from here. They want to come to Warsaw, they can come from here. Now from Warsaw to Malad, if you go, you'll have to go all around and travel around 20-25 kilometers. Here, within 3.5 kilometers, you can reach.
Hussain Indorewala, have you had a chance to look at this revised plan? What's your response to it?
Well, the problem is not so much of this revised plan. Let's look at the coastal road fundamentally. The coastal road is unsustainable from the environmental perspective. It is counterproductive from the transport perspective. It is highly wasteful from the economic perspective, and it is extremely disruptive from the social perspective. So to say that any such project is going to be beneficial for the city, it is going to help decongest the city, it's extremely unrealistic. Just look at the numbers that the coastal road is presenting as the number of people it will serve. At any given point, according to the detailed project report, 200,000 people trips per day is what the coastal road will provide for 12,000 crores. Now, who is actually paying for this project? It's public money that is going into this project, which is going to cater to a very small group of people in the city. This is really not a project that is going to benefit, a majority of commuters in the city.
Okay, so I have Hussain, I have an argument for you and for Sudhir Badami, who fundamentally were making, you're both making the same point. Let's take the Eastern Freeway, for example. Now, this was the same argument that was made for the Eastern Freeway, which is basically it encourages people with private cars to get to where they want to get to faster. Now, the Eastern Freeway remains free as opposed to the Bandra-Worli Sea Link, which is a tolled road. But once the Eastern Freeway was open, all of the other routes of transport were decongested between Chembur and town, because a lot of that transport got diverted onto the new road. So there is a possibility that the coastal road will also manage to achieve that, which is, the Western Express Highway will get decongested, the link road will get decongested right now. Don't you see that as a benefit? Any transport planner who understands anything about transport knows that the moment you build more road space, it is a recipe for increasing traffic congestion. Explain to us how.
The way this works is as follows. Traffic works. It doesn't work as the way the coastal road makes an argument is that you create road space on the western edge, and as Mr. Mathur is saying, traffic will get diverted to the coastal road, and that will automatically decongest the Western Express Highway. Actually, nothing of that kind will happen. What will actually happen is that people who right at present don't use cars or are deterred by using road transport because of congestion will eventually switch to private transport modes. This is going to create further congestion. So then there will be calls for more road widening and more highway building. And this is a never-ending process. This city cannot sustain private car transport beyond its present levels. And that is very well understood.
Sudhir Badami, do you agree? Is that how it works?
My viewpoint?
Yes, please.
You see, Constitution says there has to be equity. Can we have a democracy where 4,000 people get killed every year and we just don't look at that aspect and provide all infrastructure in favor of decongesting roads for whom? For car users.
Okay.
My point is, I have a car. I don't use a car except once in a week or once in a...
No, that's fair, Mr. Badami.
No,
nobody's questioning your
is.
use of a car. My question to you is simply this. If we look at, and let's be honest, the coastal road project comes from the BMC and the state government. So that's a question to take to the state government. But if you look at this project...
There's no great experts there either. They have some vested interests there.
No, if you look at this project in isolation right now, if we just look at the merits or the demerits of this particular project, do you believe it will lend in some way? And it's the total cost, Mr. Mathur, tell us through the total cost, the increased cost right now from the new plan. What is it?
Increased cost will be about 3,000 crores.
3,000 crore rupees.
Yes.
Sudhir Badami, at 3,000 crore rupees, what will we achieve?
Something connected with this?
3,000 crores. And what will be how it will serve the purpose, I'm going to tell you. The people staying at Yari Road at the end of Warsaw, it takes them 2 hours to reach the any destination.
True.
From Warsaw, there is no transport. Buses don't come in time. And
even if they were to get to the nearest train station, they still have to
here what I am doing, connectivity.
Okay.
Interconnecting the roads where people can use cycle track. I'm giving a cycle track and a walking track.
Okay.
Besides 8-lane bridge.
Okay.
That is what we are thinking of 40, 50 years back.
All right. And you also had an argument that, of course, it will not be as environment unfriendly or as disruptive as the previous plan. Tell us how. Mr. Mathur?
No, it won't. It will be environment friendly because
How so?
I'm having bridges, which is on pillars.
Okay.
And cloverleaf connections. If you see my plan, I don't know whether they have seen the plan. And I'm creating a circular passage for the cycle track and walking track and connecting the internal roads. That's my plan. I'm not destroying it. In fact, Warsaw to Kandivali would have caused devastation and destruction all along its route. They would have dug, they would have destroyed mangroves, they would have destroyed everything.
Kuldeep Chawla,
And
you
I am
haven't said
creating a
anything
promenade
yet.
of 7.5 kilometers along the route.
Right.
Up to Western Express Highway. I'm using Vasai Creek.
Right.
People are staying in pigeonholes today. You see the
We're opening
population
up land.
explosion.
You know, I'll bring Kuldeep in at this point. Kuldeep, this is where you and I get active with the fact that, you know, I'm excited about Mud Island being connected to the rest of the city. There's land there that we can build on. You know, in Bayandar, in Mira Road, in Vasai Virar, there's a lot of land that can be unlocked. People will be brought closer to the city. There are investment opportunities there for the real estate sector. Do you see this, you know, if simply from that point of view, do you see it opening up a lot of land for construction?
I think there are two parts to this. Let me actually just step back and say that we talked about. So the short answer to your question is yes, but I want to address it in two parts.
Okay.
Part one is to actually go back a little bit and address something that you said. What prevents buses and mass transport from using the coastal road? Point number one.
Okay.
Point number two. What prevents this? And this is a task that any government do and transport planners should do, which they would do, which is to look at an integrated transport planning system, because traffic arrives at locations faster. Number three, taking off from point number two, is to link it to the current transportation system, including the train networks.
Okay.
So, for example, if I wanted to go from Versova to Worli or to Nariman Point, why can't we incentivize, a long-term bus system? And if it's on an elevated or a road which has adequate, get on and get off points,
I think Sudhir
we could
Badami
address that.
is nodding his head because he knows the answer to that question. Sudhir?
Well, let me be a little more romantic than just matter of transportation, because we are looking at quality of life. I think that's what we
That was
must
going to
look
be
at.
my next point. So I'm glad that Sudhir Badami is talking about that.
Let me continue that. You see, one of the selling points that government has been talking about is that the road will be going kissing the sea. Kissing for what purpose? What is required, in my opinion, is that you have a kind of marine drive. Actually, if you look at the plan of Manhattan, you have gardens there along the river banks and the sea. So you must have open public space which become accessible looking at the sea. There's one more aspect which I want to specifically mention, is a very long-term point of view, is that global warming is there.
No, but
and we are going to lose all our beaches that we have, because in 100 years' time, the water level is going to come to about 8
But I believe that
meters.
Ajit Mathur includes public spaces in his plan.
My plan doesn't go through Gorai. It doesn't go through the beaches. It is going in the inside.
But we are going to lose our beaches anyway because of the global warming and water rise.
At all.
So, but you're also including public spaces, right, Ajit Mathur?
Yes.
Tell us what public spaces you're including.
See, Borivali station, there is no connectivity to the public of Mira, Bhayandar, Uttan and all that.
Okay.
I'm getting a connectivity right up to the station, Borivali station.
Okay.
Then similarly for Versova, there was no connectivity from Malad. I'm getting the connectivity done. Similarly is for Marve, Manori. Full connectivity. I'm forming a ring road.
Public spaces for people
and
to
public
enjoy.
Spaces is there. I'm creating a promenade.
I think you should promenade.
You can see in my plan a promenade, a walking track, cycle track, everything is there.
Not one, multiple promenades can be built. Okay, we need to do this carefully because we need to look at it from an ESG perspective.
What do you
point
mean by
number one.
ESG perspective?
Environmental, social, all those perspectives, community perspectives. But we also need to integrate the existing promenades, into this plan, right? That's point number two. Point number three is that as far as the use of public spaces is concerned, this is a great opportunity for Mumbai city to actually add to the proportion of green belts, right? Along the coastal, because, and mind you, this is possible to do, again, in theory, with much less disruption, because, if you were to do it inside, then there are either residents or landowners whose consent or otherwise that you might need.
Okay, 1 second. I have Hemant on the phone line who's called us from Borivali right now because he was listening to the conversation. He has something to add. Hemant, go ahead. Tell us what you want to say.
Well, I would like to say that these so-called transport experts, they come out of the woodwork whenever there is a road development project or whenever there is a flyover project.
Okay.
They have very little inputs to give on improving the railway infrastructure. The average speeds are pathetic. The road layout is pathetic, the existing roads. I mean, so why are they so negative? I mean, all the things can happen together. 60-70% of the city is already encroached. And what are they talking about, I mean?
You know, Sudhir Badami, I think this question is to you. He wants to know why are you so negative about this project?
No, why does he think it's negative? If you talk to 80% of the population, they'll say, I'm positive. Please understand this. That
no, his question is, why can't it happen at the same time?
Whatever his question is, point is very simple, that if you are going to cater only to 4%, even less, actually people are going to use this line, it's hardly going to be 1.25% of the population. While actually 90% of the population is using public transport and they are in congestion, I don't think we have choice other than providing BRTS where the existing roads are.
Yes.
And not providing BRTS on a road where nobody is going to go on a BRT there.
Okay, Kuldeep had that same suggestion, and I'm going to come back to our caller. Hemant is on the... Hemant, I'll come back to you in a second. But Sudhir, what's stopping bus rapid transport on the coastal road? Why can't... I mean, if we allow buses
the buses have to run where people are. So you start analyzing where people are on the coastal road, people are not there. And buses are supposed to go stages-wise, dropping off people and picking up people. They're very fundamentals. I think people are just romanticizing everything.
You're saying it's an unviable process for a bus if there aren't stops along the route?
And it's possible to integrate that. You may be able to do it for a certain proportion of the traffic. You may not be able to accomplish it for the entire traffic. You know, and that's why this plan needs to be integrated with not just a transport plan, but a lot of other plans.
Hemant, you wanted to say something on the phone line? Hemant, go ahead.
I respect Mr. Badami's public spirit, but I have not seen too much of his attention towards the pathetic state of our railways, the poor average speeds. We travel at 28, 25 kilometers per hour of an average speed. It takes 1 hour, 20 minutes from Churchgate to Borivali. You should pay attention there. Na? So automatically people will stop using roads. See the poorly laid out roads like paver blocks and all. I mean, Mr. Badami's talents and Mr. Indorewala's talents are required there where 90% of the people travel.
Okay.
Yes, we have to devote our time and money also. We can't be spending 12,000 crores or much more only for 1.25% of the population. We need to spend. You give me 6,000 crores, I'll put up BRTS in Mumbai 6 or 200 kilometers.
But Ajit, Mathur, do you want to respond to that for 6,000 crores?
There has been a loss of momentum in the growth of Mumbai.
Okay.
And that has all been because there has not been an infrastructure. If we want to bring Mumbai to its original growth and make it the economic and the financial capital,
Ajit Mathur, respond to this.
Infrastructure is the need of the hour.
Sudhir Badami just gave you a challenge. He said, give me 6,000 crore rupees, I'll solve the transport problems of Mumbai.
But I am catering to 55 lakhs of population. Where is the roads to cater to your transport? There is no roads. You need wider roads. We are creating an eight-lane roads with cycle tracks and pathways and everything. It's a new plan. Why should we not encourage the government and the BMC to go ahead with the project?
Hello.
There has been no infrastructure development for the last 2 decades.
That is true. The western side of Mumbai, on the eastern side, we've had the Santa Cruz-Chembur Link Road, the Eastern Freeway. There is a plan now for a Trans-Harbour Sea Link and a rail link. On the western side, there's been absolutely no upgrade of infrastructure for decades. I mean, the western side of Mumbai has lived with that same Western Express Highway for so long. No wonder it takes 3 hours to cross one end of it to the other. So, Sudhir Badami, why stop the government if they're coming up with a solution?
I'm not stopping. I'm just telling them, please change the priorities. Provide BRT lanes on these Western Express highways and Eastern Express highways and all over the network of about 200 kilometers. They will provide mobility to majority of the people. When I say majority, I'm talking about 80 to 90% of the people. I'm not talking about 1.25% of the population. They will anyway be in the air-conditioned cars. They will anyway going to spend whatever time they have. Prioritize people's requirements and then move over to the luxury part of it. But I think we have priorities.
Okay, so you're grading this project as a luxury project?
Yes, it is, definitely.
I want to counter Badami.
Yes, please. Go ahead, Mr. Mathur.
The thing is, I am catering to 55 lakhs of the population in the first phase.
How?
Traffic is going to come up on the Western Express Highway from Ahmedabad. There's bound to be a traffic. You see 5 years hence. So I'm making a link road all around. Why don't you appreciate? The people, there is a population explosion. in Mira Bhayandar, Borivali,
And they're all using the same roads. Yes.
And a separate business center will be created there. There would be schools,
you say bullet train is going to
institutions
come,
and everything. Bullet train will take 10 years to come in. And when will
Sudhir Badami, go ahead.
Ahmedabad, how is
3
it
years
going to
we
get the
can
population that you're talking about? Existing population of western suburbs is about 50-55 lakhs. Now, those people require open public space. You got to provide it from this reclaimed land. You require to have BRTS to take up these people traveling such long distances. Cycle tracks are quite all right if the short distance are being covered.
Yes.
But I think, let me give you only one.
I don't think there's anybody who's going to be cycling from Mira Bhayandar to Nariman Point.
I don't want them to cycle. I don't want them to go to Mira Bhayandar.
No, there's one point you're forgetting.
I don't want them to go.
There are 57% of the population lives within 3 kilometers of their place of work.
Yes.
And if you go on the other extreme, only 11% of the population lives beyond 15 kilometers of their place of work.
But you know, Mr. Sudhir Badami, I will tell you this. I live 12 kilometers away from my place of work. It takes me an hour and 15 minutes every morning. I don't think the distance is relevant here in Mumbai.
It's acceptable commute time.
It's time that's relevant.
Supposing
I mean, Mumbai,
BRTS
let's be honest,
there,
Mumbai is the only city where we measure distance in time. We say it's going to take you an hour to get there. We're not even.
Bangalore also does the same thing because everywhere there's jam.
Yes.
Because we are not looking at solutions which can be implemented straight away and benefit all the people concerned.
Let's see which way our audience is moving. Mr. Mathur, one second.
Enhancing the quality of the life of the people living there.
Okay.
They are living in the pigeonholes.
Let's see what the citizen has to say. Pradeep Duggal is on the phone line. He's gotten in touch with us. Pradeep, tell us what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me intervening. These gentlemen, you are all discussing about all these things, 12,000 crore for only for 1.25% people. I just wanted to know, airport, if you are building it is 30,000, 40,000 crore, then you will stop all these things that it is used by only minimum 10 lakh, 20 lakh people. So thing is that you have to allow the development and you have to change accordingly. First of all, these NGO, political parties and even who are the poorest people, who made them? Each and everyone equally born it, each and everyone grown to their merit. So who has stopped them to buy a car? To go anywhere, they can go to London, they can go to New York, they can go to anywhere. So why you are stepping this coastal road or this way, that way, it will jam, it will you openly, you do your job, people will decide what to do. You want to improve in railway, you focus on railway.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm the people.
Yes, you're the people. All right, Pradeep Duggal, we got your point. We got your point. Also, Alex is on the phone line. Alex, can you hear us? Good evening. Tell us what you have to say.
Yeah. Good evening.
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, thank you so much for connecting me.
Yes.
See, today these people are diverting all the money towards that coastal road. Here people are literally dying. The roads are so bad. We are suffering from back pain very often. You can't travel. Look at Malwani, mud and all the roads are in such a bad condition. They are not, instead of improving the infrastructure over here, they are diverting all the money to the coastal road. This is for whom? If I want to travel to Churchgate from Borivali, I will not go to Mud Marway. I will not travel through coastal road because going there it will take me 1.5 hours.
That is absolutely correct. And this is very important. Even the first caller made the same point.
Yes.
Which is something that we need to understand. There is a lot of effort being spent on and money being spent, will be spent on the coastal road. The question is, why is that much attention not being given to the railways? And Mr. Mathur is talking about the fact that this is a 50-60-year-old plan, and he's right. This is thinking which goes back 50-60 years. No other city in the world is spending so much on coastal roads. Everybody has understood that if you want to improve transportation in the city, you have to improve public transport. You have to use this money to augment public transport like your BRTS, metro, your suburban rail. And coastal road is going to terribly exacerbate all the city's congestion problems. So this is not what we ought to be doing in the city.
It's not what we are to be. Mr. Mathur, I have another question for you. You said Malabar Hill. This coastal road will run through Malabar Hill. There will be, since you're no longer reclaiming land, you're actually building inland, there'll be a massive list of challenges in terms of acquiring land for your road, especially in places ambitiously like Malabar Hill? How do you plan to tackle those problems? So if you have such a sharp deadline that you're going to be done in 3 years, how do you plan to handle the land acquisition?
Here, I just want to correct you.
Yes.
Because first of all, my focus is on the first phase.
Okay.
There should be 4 or 5 phases of development.
So in
The
3
first
years,
phase
how much
has
will
to
you be done?
From Warsaw
to
Western Express Highway that will connect to Ahmedabad and the Ghodbunder Road.
Okay.
So I want to concentrate first on the Warsaw. And it can be done in phases. So have the first phase where it caters to a population
So what
to 50
your
or
first
55.
your first phase will just basically allow people from Warsaw to reach the
Yes.
Western Express Highway,
And I just
which is
heard the
already
caller.
congested.
I
So
just
what-
heard the caller.
Yes.
He's saying we have to go from Borivali to Churchgate. I can assure you, you won't go from Borivali to Churchgate because this will be a business district by itself.
Okay.
It will give you employment.
Okay, I'm just
and
going to take
avenues
some more
for,
viewer
business.
responses. Nikhil N. Shivdas says, we've said it before and now independent reports are saying the same thing. The Mumbai Coastal Road project will benefit only a few. It will not benefit everybody. Kuldeep, you wanted to add something?
So I just want to add 2 things. Number one, that we're increasingly looking, today at things in isolation. And I want to drive the discussion to saying, how can we integrate it? It's easy to say, this won't work. I think the question we should be asking ourselves is, how can we make it work?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. The second part has to do with how can we create employment opportunities, multiplier effects, new business districts, improve quality of life. How do we measure all of that? And the last point I want to make is taking off from what Ajit said, which is you can implement this project in phases, including your Malabar Hill. You don't have to necessarily go inland all the time. There are ways and means, and that's what I was trying to make earlier, is that we should look at this project and see, based on our experiences of similar projects in the country and indeed globally, how can we implement this in phases so that the maximum impact comes? So for example, just picking up a lesson, just 30 seconds.
Sure.
Just picking up a lesson from the Delhi Metro, they implemented it first in the Chandni Chowk area, which was the most congested area. Or connecting, Chandni Chowk to East Delhi. So what I'm trying to say is...
I'm coming back to what you said, which is basically when you create a toll, when you create a road, traffic arrives faster on either sides of those roads, correct? Now, the first phase, according to Mr. Ajit Mathur, will connect Warsaw to the Western Express Highway, which is obviously already congested. What is the plan for the Western Express Highway to handle that traffic that will come in your first phase, Mr. Mathur?
See what happened, I'm decongesting the traffic of Western Express Highway.
Okay.
I'm creating the flow of traffic from Thane, Ghodbunder going to Western Express Highway. I'm diverting them here in the first place.
Okay.
A person wants to go to Warsaw, they've got connection. And I agree with Chawla to have, he says we have an integrated plan. We are creating business avenues, employment, institutions, business centers, how Thane has been developed.
So what's
Ghodbunder
the
Road, nobody
plan?
thought of Ghodbunder Road. Now, if we have an integrated plan, we take care of the environment, we take care of making promenades, and we are enhancing the life of the people, quality living, and all sorts of things.
Let me
put it bluntly, I guess the question we're attempting to answer, sir, is this. When the Worli-Bandra sealing happened, traffic arrived in Worli much faster.
With nowhere to go.
With no dispersal of traffic. How are we, what is the next phase of your first phase? And, how do we integrate the two to make sure that it happens in a seamless manner? So that the dispersal of traffic is smooth and doesn't cause a congestion somewhere else.
I have another question. Of course, wherever we've had CBDs come up, whether it's BKC, whether it's, Lower Parel where we are right now, Malad, for example, the eastern side of Goregaon on the highway, these things have come up organically and inorganically, and there's been no plan for the traffic. There's no way to enter or exit Lower Parel without spending an hour in traffic. There's no way to enter or exit BKC. There's no way to enter or exit Malad, irrespective of what kind of transport you're using. Whether you're using the train or the auto or the bus or your car, you're still stuck in traffic. And that's the larger question. How are we going to decongest that? The coastal road has been extended now. It will connect the Thane Creek in the north all the way down to Nariman Point, connecting areas like Mira Bhayandar, Mud Island and Nariman Point. So will this actually work to decongest Mumbai? Is this the answer to all of our problems as citizens of Mumbai? On the panel with me, we have transport experts, we have real estate experts, and of course we have the architect of the plan himself, Ajit Mathur. But I currently have citizens who this plan will affect the most on the phone line. Daryl is on the phone line. Daryl, go ahead. Tell us what your question is.
I think it's a very simple question. Is this a public transport project or a private one? I think the answer is self-evident. Secondly, nobody is traveling to South Bombay, to Nariman Point anymore.
Okay.
Bandra-Worli link should have had 125,000 cars per day. There are now only about 45,000 cars a day using it.
Yes.
So who is traveling to Nariman Point in the first place? We all know that rents and prices in BKC are higher than at Nariman Point. And thirdly, the two metro lines, Metro 3, which is coming before Metro 2, from Colaba through Bandra to Mankur,
yes,
and Metro 2 from Charkop through Bandra to Seeps, take care of the entire west coast. Now, nowhere in the world are we building roads along coasts or rivers, but we are living in some cloud cuckoo land and going against, there is climate change facing us, with India having 13 of the worst cities in the world.
Okay.
And Bombay is going to go that way. I think Hussain could, as a planner, can explain far better than I can on your program.
All right, I also want to get Mudassir in. Mudassir is also on the phone line. He's a citizen. Mudassir, go ahead. Okay, sorry. Mudassir Zaidi joins us as well on the show. Mudassir, thanks for joining us. See, of course, there'll be a massive impact here from the real estate point of view. But the question is, are we actually coming up with a plan that's helpful, or is it just, 1% of the population or 2% of the population that we're catering to?
Hello?
In terms of, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello? Yeah, great. So in terms of the quality of life of most people, I think one is definitely that transportation, etc., and ease of reaching to your place of work from your place of stay, etc., is very, very important. And certainly, obviously, this has not been done to a large extent here in Mumbai, but obviously, we've been looking at it from in terms of how do we make it better for most citizens out here. So definitely my sense is that in terms of real estate per se, and from people wanting to reach their place of work, etc., this would be very, very beneficial in terms of easing the quality of life. We've seen people traveling an hour and a half every day.
What sort of real estate markets do you think will be impacted the most? Of course, there's Mud Marve, there's Vasai Virar, there's Kalyan Dombivli, and of course there's Mira Bhayandar. From all of these markets, where do you think the most the most boost will come from this road? If we just look at the first phase, which is Versova connecting to the Western Express Highway.
In fact, we had come out with a report about a month and a half ago, but actually identified Mud Marve as one area which would be impacted the most beneficially in terms of connectivity, and therefore resultant increase in prices, etc. We are expecting that the current difference between Mud Marve and Versova, that difference will go down significantly once that connectivity will come about.
All right, Kuldeep, you agree as well that Mud Marve is possibly...
I endorse that view that the gap between these two will narrow considerably.
Can I come in here?
Okay, go ahead.
So this is the funny thing about the coastal road, right? Everybody talks about the coastal road about things other than transportation. So the coastal road will create open spaces, the coastal road will create bicycle tracks, the coastal road will increase property prices. The coastal road will do everything except address the transportation questions. Right, and this is and though even you are articulating this program as how can Mumbai solve this congestion problem, right? But it is not about congestion at all. It's not about traffic. It's about something else. Daryl raised a very important point. The last caller.
Yes.
He spoke about whether this is a private transport project or a public transport project. Actually, it's very interesting. If you look at the economics of the coastal road, 12,000 crores. If the coastal road is built in the manner in which the DPR said is going to be built, the whole of the city is going to pay for the needs of 2 to 5% of the population. On the other hand, if you impose user charges, so if you take tolls from all the people who are going to use the coastal road, nobody will use the coastal road. The number of people who will be willing to pay that kind of toll will reduce drastically. So the coastal road has to be built at the cost of the many for the sake
Hussain,
of the very few.
I want to get more views in from our audience, and we have a lot of people calling in on our phone lines. Udayan has called us from Andheri. Kumar is on the phone line from Bangalore. Udayan, you first. Tell us what you want to add to this conversation.
Good evening, man.
Yes, good evening.
This project is total humbug, because with the coastal road, this total Maharashtra government is constructing Shivaji statue right in the middle of the sea. So from where will the coastal road go? And when the statue comes up, the entire marine area will be congested with motor cars and everything. So instead of listening to the same voice of Sudhir Badami and other urban consultants, they should listen to Sudhir Badami, because these guys, they are doing a lot of work, Mr. Charles Korea was just relegated to the background. He had fantastic, lot of good views for the society. But these guys, this Maharashtra government, these corrupt people, they never understood Mr. Charles Korea or Mr. Sudhir Badami. So from where will the go? From where will the road go, coastal road go? It will create a lot of impact. Just because of Nariman Point and Cup Parade, there is a there are no chopati at Shivaji Park. There is no chopati at Warsaw. So what humbug they are talking about, people and all.
Okay, all right. Let's also get Kumar, because we're running out of time. Kumar from Bandra is also on the phone line. Kumar, go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I have been hearing this discussion for last 1 hour. And why is that everybody is only talking about the coastal road? I mean, there's ample scope to develop both the railways as well as the roads, because the way the real estate is growing in Bombay, people hardly have any space to drive or to walk.
Yes.
So we should look at a very balanced approach instead of looking only at railways or looking only at coastal roads. Of course, the coastal roads will have its own advantages of speeding up the traffic, but then we should also look at the railways and the way the entire transportation system works.
Yes, it should be an integrated system. That's something that we all agree with. Ajit, Mathur, answer that question. I think this all fundamentally asking the same question. Is it a private transport project or a public transport project?
No, this is, according to me, a public transport
How
project.
so?
Because 8-lane bridge, we are having a route for the buses, we are having a cycle track, we are having a walking path. So infrastructure is the need of the hour. People need to understand that first. Without infrastructure, you can't progress. Well, metros and whatever railway projects which are going to come up, they are going to take 5 to 10 years. I'm not saying you don't develop that.
Are you actually saying you complete this project
but simultaneously you develop this also?
Okay, so tell me this, the entire Ring Road project, and we'll put it up on the screen for the benefit of our viewers who just tuned in. The entire Ring Road project that you're looking at, what is the timeline for that full project? What is the total cost of the full project, including possible delays that you might find along the way?
No, as I have been talking to the BMC, they also agreed that we can finish the project in 3 years' time. First phase, Warsaw to...
No, the
Western
full
Express
project.
Highway.
Mr. Mathur, the full project. How long will the full project? Because the full
project,
impact of your project will only be felt after it's complete.
Yeah,
So how long will it take?
They have to decide now. They are working on that. They had appointed two consultants. Now, I don't know which other consultants they are appointing. But I feel the present commissioner is very enthusiastic person. And he wants to complete this project in a time-bound manner. That is what I've heard from him.
Okay. We speak about
and he
alternatives.
liked my project from Versova, that decongesting the entire other areas of Mumbai city. And suburbs is growing like fastest.
Okay.
There's a population explosion. So we have to curtail the population explosion by giving them avenues of business, creating business districts. So they don't go to city or other places. They have a good quality of life here only.
Okay, and
that is what my focus is.
And that will be solved with the coastal road.
Yes,
Sudhir
and the
Badami.
ring road which I am
point
creating.
which I think most people are talking about population explosion. If you go by the census of 1991, 2001, 2011, this last decadal growth has been just about 6 lakhs in the entire MCGM area, while the previous one had from I think 93 lakhs came to 119 lakhs. So it is tapered off. We have reached a density in this island city of 450 or 460 persons per hectare. And in the suburbs, in the place where people are living, the density is as much as 320 persons per hectare. And these are the things which are one of the most congested population densities. And along with population densities, we have all the utility services also very dense. That's one of the main reasons why we had that one metro line, 11 kilometers, took 8 years. And going by that standard of construction, because of various problems that we exist, the entire metro plan, though they seem to be talking very optimistically about 8 years or something like that, my calculations show 100 years. I'm not that pessimistic. 50 years would be a reasonable time to consider seriously that yes, we can achieve what we want. And but 50 years, are we going to take 4,000 people getting killed every year? What sort of democracy are we in? I may be very activist oriented, but I think we are in a democracy. We have to look at it very pragmatically from all aspects. It cannot be just motor cars.
It cannot be just motor cars.
Can I come in here? Can I come in here?
Okay, Hussain, go ahead.
Okay, so, we must talk about alternatives to the coastal road, because I think the focus seems to be only on this particular project. Look, the coastal road is going to transport 200,000 people every day, right? If you build a BRTS on the Western Express Highway, there's a potential of moving about 8 lakh people per day, 8 lakh trips per day. If you augment the existing suburban rail system, you can increase the 6.5 lakh passenger trips per day, right? Already, with about half the cost of the coastal road, you can move about 4 times the number of people that the coastal road will move. These are the alternatives to the coastal road. You don't need to build this project. If Mr. Mathur wants to decongest the city, make it world-class, maximum, whatever class he wants, there have to be ways in which you think about other alternatives to a private car-centric project. And that is what are possibilities that the city can explore. And unless we explore them, we are going to be stuck with the current situation, and we are going to make it worse in terms of traffic and in terms of congestion.
All right, I also want to bring in Mandeep, who's on the phone line from Mumbai, another citizen who wants to add to our conversation. Mandeep, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am, I was watching your conversation, and I have only one small submission to make.
Yes.
When you drive around the city in the night, you notice that these roads are very wide. There is plenty of road space. The same road you go in the daytime, there are 2 to 3 tiers of hawkers or oblique parking or whatever you may say.
Yes. Yes.
The road space gets restricted to maybe single lane or maybe double lane at best. And this happens almost at all the roads. And that is what causes you major congestion, because once you come out of the freeways and then you enter this part, then there is huge traffic jams, and that result. And it's not because of scarcity of road space. It may be because of maybe we've given everybody a freedom to set up shop on the public road.
Sure.
So I don't know if we can release some existing road space to the people.
That might be a quicker solution.
Yeah, no, that would be one of the things. And,
That's a
secondly,
very, very fair suggestion. Sudhir Badami, one of the bigger problems that we have are the roads that are already available to us are being managed really badly. One of the citizens who called said that, we have bad roads, they're not being looked at carefully enough, they're not being fixed fast enough by the BMC, and we know the BMC has the budget for it. They just don't have the will. And then, of course, there are the hawkers, there are the people who, park their cars illegally. So it's bad management as well, isn't it?
Well, your tone of saying the hawkers tells most of people who walk around, they find that as impediment. But a large number of people find them convenient. Why are they convenient? Because I think to step out to go and shop is ridiculous. People go where the shops are nearby on the way home.
But there needs to be a plan, Sudhir.
No, there
needs to be a plan on where people are allowed to set up shop,
another aspect
not on the footpaths.
There's one more aspect, please. Hawkers means livelihood of people.
Which is fair. I'm not arguing with that.
And they will be there where people are going to purchase from.
I think you just need zoning to be done properly. That's
the
it.
whole thing
there has to be a plan. I disagree with you. It cannot be haphazard. There has to be a plan. That's what urban planning is about. I want to bring in Mudassir Zaidi one more time. Mudassir, when we talk about planning and, of course, of CBDs, and this is the other thing, of course, and I'll come back to Sudhir here. When you talk about train stations, where the real problem is, and even if we master our western line of train and we master the suburban trains, it's the last mile connectivity that's missing.
It's the same dispersal of traffic.
How do you get out of the
issue.
train station and arrive at your workspace? There's no place to walk. There's no public transport available. Last mile connectivity is still a nightmare in our cities, and that's the key really. That is the key really to making our cities livable. Mudassir Zaidi, for all of our CBDs and the transport that has to come in and out, how important is that sort of planning?
I think the present DCR, Development Control Rules, have got these provisions that given the right of way of roads, 6
Sudhir, but I mean, there were always rules. It's implementation of the rules that have been the problem.
It has been implemented.
Implementation that's been a problem. Mudassir, come in.
What is coming in is that for a road which is wider than 6 meters, you've got to have 2.5 meters of footpath.
Which are unoccupied by anybody else other than the people who need to use them.
Let me complete that.
Yes.
So 2.5 has to be provided. The first time it has come in the country that you're going to provide that kind of width of footpath. That means the focus is gradually shifting to what we activists I've been talking about, make a city walkable. Now it's up to us to see that just like they make the roads all right, as far as possible, make pothole free, they make footpaths walkable.
Okay, all right. I have one last minute on the show, and I want to bring in Mudassir very quickly. Mudassir, and I asked this question earlier, of course. We do take a real estate angle on this channel. The fact that in the city of Mumbai, the lack of transport, the bad congestion feeds somehow the property market. Here we have a plan for a coastal road that will continue to feed the property market, open up more markets to focus on. For someone who's watching right now, who lives in the western suburbs, who's looking at buying a home, would you recommend using the Mumbai Coastal Road as an incentive when choosing that home?
We certainly talk about it already. In fact, in the last couple of years, in fact, most property markets move, basis what's going to happen in the future. The prices, etc., will move in terms of what is expected. Whatever is already come in, basically, is already priced in. So when we were talking about the airport coming in towards Navi Mumbai, that got priced in that part of the market. In the western suburbs, when we talked about the coastal road, that has started now getting priced in most of the markets, definitely. So most people do take into account what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years before making a decision out here, because it anyways takes about 4 to 5 years for any project to get delivered from its inception.
So where would you recommend they buy that house then, Mudassir?
At the moment, and I've mentioned this earlier as well, that we are recommending Madh Marve as our top destination, and primarily infrastructure being the mover for that particular location, and coastal road being the infrastructure project in particular, which is going to drive that particular market.
Kuldeep Chawla, go ahead.
I just want to make a point here. Infrastructure doesn't necessarily mean rising prices. It also means the possibility of increasing the housing stock.
Okay.
For those who need it. I think we should begin to look at things like that. You know?
The possibility of opening up land, of opening up supplies for a city that desperately needs it. All right, so
I just want to make the last.
You'll have to do it very quickly. We're out of time.
See, when government is coming up with an integrated plan, they are looking at railways, they are looking at metros, they are looking at coastal road. So we need to support the government now. And I agree with Chawla that
a fair opposition and questioning of the government plans is part of a democracy, and I encourage that as well.
But what I need to say, when government is coming out with an alternative proposal and it is coming out with an innovative idea, then we need to support the government. Let's do some infrastructure project rather than not do a project.
Okay, I think what we've established on this conversation is that
10 seconds.
10 seconds for you. 10 seconds.
The bottom line that I see is that the government is going on an exclusive projects and not an inclusive project.
Not
I think I'll leave
projects.
it at that.
Okay, all right. We're going to wrap up the show. We have established that the city of Mumbai is bursting at the seams and desperately needs help, possibly integrated transport that puts the population of the larger population of this country on its priority list, and of course citizens who believe that it has to be inclusive and it has to include public transport. We're going to keep a very close eye on the Mumbai Coastal Road for you on this channel, because this is what we do. We put the citizen first. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.